Hey guys, today I just want to chat a little bit about pitch tunneling and what pitches should you throw to be more successful, to stay injury free, and to throw harder and perform better. One of the biggest things I see with young players at the moment is that they don't throw a true fastball. So when we use Rapsodo technology, we can track what the ball's doing and how the ball's spinning. And despite kids all throwing a four seam grip, many of them actually cut around the baseball a lot and reduce the efficiency of the spin of the ball. A proper four seam fastball should spin at 95% and above efficiency. So, as a step one, if you want to try and throw harder, if you can improve the efficiency of your fastball so that it spins 95% or above, then to the hitter, it's going to feel about 2 miles an hour faster without putting any extra stress on your arm and therefore reducing your risk of injury. And what am I talking about with that? Well, if we spin the ball here, we can sort of see how the blue tape wobbles. And this is a great way to train this without having access to Rapsodo or the clean fuego balls that are cut in half, that kind of thing. Put a bit of electrical tape around the ball and start to throw it and see how true you can get it to spin. So you can see it still wobbles a bit, and for me that's my natural arm slot is about a 3/4 slot, and so when I throw a four seam fastball, I struggle to get it as efficient as that based on where I'm at. So what can I do about it? Well, one of the things I could do is either train to throw better and over the top, more efficient, and get it to spin truer, or maybe I don't bother throwing a four seam fastball. What if I start throwing cutter or a sinker? So if I go to a two seam grip, that we want it to be at about 50 to 60% efficiency. And so what I see a lot with young pitchers is that they're throwing a four seam grip, but they're sometimes as low as 60% efficiency on a four seam. So it is actually cutting a little bit horizontal, but not to the degree that would be deceptive enough to the hitter. So what's a simple solution? Start trying to throw a cutter rather than trying to throw a four seam. It might be easier for you to do without changing your action so much, is to just change your grip on the ball and then throw it exactly the same way, and now it's going to move more horizontally as it gets to the hitter. A proper four seam fastball, a really good one, has upwards of 20 degrees of vertical rise or vertical break, as we would call it. But a cut fastball has less vertical break and more horizontal. Unfortunately, a lot of young players throw a four seam fastball but a cutting action, and so it doesn't do much of anything. And therefore, unless you're throwing 95 miles an hour, it's not going to be as effective as it could be. So rather than just always train velocity, which is very important to do, but by just improving the efficiency of your ball, of your fastball, you're going to gain in terms of what the hitter feels. You're going to gain 2 miles an hour without any extra stress on your arm. And that's by making it either a four seam fastball that's spinning true and therefore has more vertical break, or a cut or a sinking fastball that breaks further horizontally, therefore being harder to hit that way as well. And then what do we mean about by pitch tunneling? Well, that's the next step in this. Figure out what fastball you can throw best, and then let's start thinking about what's the simplest breaking ball for you to throw well. Again, all these pitches have specific definitions of what they should look like. And I think the simplest breaking ball to throw for a younger player is a gyro slider. Now, gyro spin is complete side spin. So it's not going to, if it's thrown well, it's spinning completely sideways with no backward spin like that. And so it's going to go down and die to the hitter rather than a traditional curveball that has a little bit of an up and down and a cross or a slider or something like that. But again, it's the simplest to throw well, and that's going to make it more effective than changing your arm slot or your arm speed to try and throw a proper curveball when maybe you're just not skilled enough at that at the moment. So picking whatever fastball you've got, if you can throw a really good four-seam one that spins true like that, and therefore it's breaking vertically, and then you go to a straight gyro spinning slider, you could even keep it on that same seam position, and now that's going to go down. And so those two pitches going in opposite directions is going to be much more difficult for a hitter to figure out, because you're going to be throwing them equally as hard. There'll be a bit of a velocity differential, but your arm speed and your arm release will look a lot more similar, and the ball will go in opposite directions. And that's what we mean by pitch tunneling. We want them all to come from the same release point and then move in different directions, making it harder for the hitter to pick up. And then you could add a change up as well, where you had a little bit more pronation, again depending on your age, but for younger pitchers, trying to throw a circle change is really hard to do. For me, my hand isn't big enough to throw it well, so a straight palm grip change up there, you can get the seam shifted wake happening, finishing with a bit of pronation. Now that pitch is going to go down and into a right-handed hitter. So if I'm throwing my natural cut fastball with a two-seam grip, it's going away from a right-handed hitter. I've got my gyro slider from the same slot is going down, and then I've got a change-up that's coming into a right-handed hitter. All three I can throw with the same effort and arm speed, but they're all going to go in three different directions, and they're simpler for me to throw well. And that's the biggest takeaway for today, is pick pitches that you can actually throw well so that they do what they're designed to do, because then the velocity is less important at the younger ages. As I said, if you throw a proper four-seam fastball with 95% efficiency and above, it's going to feel to a hitter like you're throwing 2 miles an hour harder. And it's going to be the same with all the other ones. If your cutter moves 10 degrees plus away from a righty, it's going to be a lot harder to hit than one that only moves a little bit that he might not even notice. So that's the biggest takeaway from today, is how to throw harder. Well, throw the ball well. Start with your fastball and figure out what the best fastball for you is. Do something simple like this. Strip of electrical tape around the ball and work on throwing it and so that it spins straight on, or go the long way, strip that way, and work on it spinning away from a right-handed hitter. Once you can do that, then pick a breaking ball that you can throw well. The gyro slider is the simplest to throw textbook, and then same for a change-up once you've mastered that as well. But if you can get three pitches going like that in three different directions with a little bit of velocity differential, even if you aren't overpowering yet and you may be throwing in the 70s or something like that, touching 80, it's going to be a lot harder for a hitter to sort you out, and you're going to have a lot more success just because the ball's moving in different ways and it's harder for them to figure out which way it's going to go. Thanks guys, until next time, keep working hard.